Good morning, this is John Tyson. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about dealing with email marketing. And partly, there's two parts to this. First part was brought about by this particular report that I received, and it's the guide to engaging email marketing coming from a marketing company, Market2, that you may or may not be familiar with. But I'll be happy to share this to you. Just simply drop me an email, and I'll be glad to share it. It is a large, it's a large document. I want to say that it has about 60 pages to it, and hopefully, well, actually, it's over 150 pages. So, big document. Haven't reviewed the whole thing, but the pieces that I read certainly made it very worthwhile in sharing with you today, because what we know is that everybody's got a lot of email, and so maybe you'll have some tips today on how to manage it differently. I'd like to share something with you that I've learned this week that might give you a little different perspective on, you know, why you're letting email run your day. And we're also going to look at some of the highlights, and that's where we're going to open today, just looking at some of the things that we can do by using our ZIMBA email system. So if you've kind of struggled with ZIMBA and you're... What?
I hope you're not live.
I am. I got delayed from 10 o'clock to 11, so I'm doing a little WebEx on email today.
Wow.
Yes, I know. I'm so cool I can't keep up with myself.
I know. It's so awesome. Sorry about that, everyone.
You can always stay and have insightful questions.
Okay, I'll do that.
Grab a laptop, log in. I always love visitors live in my studio audience. Okay, usually, depending who they are. So, anyway, before I was distracted here this morning, I'm going to bring a couple resources to you. But first, I'd like to start off by just taking a look at what's going on with our ZIMBA program. You know, in a lot of ways, I've heard a number of complaints about it, but in a lot of ways, I think you're going to find when we put all the pieces together of what is starting to become a great engaging email, one of my favorite strategies or tactics in using this, and you see that in my emails, just like the one that came out to you today, is the ability to drop a piece of art into an email, because a text-only email is kind of boring. And we want to do something that's going to really capture some engagement. I see you guys are sending out flyers on properties, and it's attached. It may sound like a kind of simple, trite thing, but that's another click in my day. And if you want to get your message across, you've got that first impression thing. You've got just a few seconds. We know when you get out of the car, when you walk towards the home, that you have 5 seconds to make a first impression with somebody, whether it's they're watching you walk from the car or they're reading you when they open the door. I would argue that you've got a fraction of that when it comes to someone reading their email. Now, I imagine I'm finding some of you sitting there smiling, because as you look down over your inbox list, you're choosing quickly. I do it every day. I look at the list and, man, delete, 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 delete. And what did I base that on? Well, two things. Did it come from Ian? Of course, we're going to just ditch that right away. But it's mainly coming from the sender, and it's coming from the subject line. And so if you're coming up with a weak subject line, you're done. You're in my delete box. You could have in there a link to a free account full of $100 bills, and I'm never going to see it because your opening line was weak. Now, there's two places that you have to remember you're being viewed. First is on your desktop. The second place is in that narrow little window that is on your cell phone. So do yourself a favor, and especially if you're sending out a marketing piece that you're hoping for some traction, do a little test and see what it looks like on your iPhone or your cell phone or your iPad, or, you know, this is where the Android people have a an advantage because some of you have screens, this big. And so that's not a problem for you.
To unmute your line,
But it is
press
for your
*6
consumer.
or #6.
I forgot to mute my lines here. We got a little punching in the background or something. But so remember that the way they're going to look to somebody on their main screen, whatever their device is, and we know that more than half is going to be mobile, is going to be super important. So your subject line is everything. You can't change who you are. If you're using my AOL mail account or Hotmail or something, that could ultimately cause fewer opens for you because it could look a little spammy, so a professional email address is going to be so important. I would argue that Gmail is going to be more accepted than any of the other free accounts out there. And, just give it a thought, because when they're not being opened or responded to, forwarded, or anything else, you might have yourself to blame. If you get a lot of unwanted email every day, guess what? So does everybody else. So a strong subject line is going to be really important. And, read this now may not be it. One of the least frequently opened emails that people send out, my monthly newsletter. There's no urgency. It's obviously material that is good for a month. It's going to sit around, and I might just file it or say, I'll come back and read that. You folks out there with these huge inboxes that have stuff that you're going to go back and read, come on, you don't, and neither does anyone else. So you want to make it engaging right now. So give a subject line that someone's looking forward to, that they're going to open, and they're looking for some engagement. And you can figure that one out for yourself. I would recommend that you either test it, or the emails that you go through your list and say, oh yeah, got to read that right now, pay attention to what the subject line looks like. Now it might say, here's that home inspection report, here's that contract. So maybe you come up with a subject line that says, here's home inspection news. Might cause somebody to open that rather than my monthly newsletter this month featuring home inspection news. Remember that probably at least half of that's never going to be seen on anybody's screen, particularly on a mobile device. So think in kind of Twitter terms, keep it real short, to the point, and make it engaging right now. One of the key features that I've really enjoyed in going to the new ZIMBA platform is this little icon right in the middle, this little green guy. If you haven't discovered this one, I would tell you to consider it because it allows us to insert an image. And so once we are there, let's go see where I could have some GP-rated images on this computer. So maybe you want to include our Jack On logo for whatever reason as part of your email. You're going to put it in your signature line. So we're just going to simply select one, we'll grab it, and we're going to drop it right in here. It's a big old piece of art, so we're going to reduce it. Just keep grabbing that corner and moving it on down. You might want to reduce it at some point to just speed up the process, but you get the idea. We can insert a piece of art right into an email. Now, for my money, this is absolutely the coolest part of our new email system. And if you don't do much with graphics, guys, you sell homes. You should have pictures of everything. So adding a graphic, and I picked a big old one to insert here today. And I guess that's okay. Just have to wrestle our way through it. Feels like a video edit coming to me when I go to post this online. But we'll get this down to a size where it's going to fit on all the screens out there, which totally is a challenge. But I am slowly and surely getting you there, I'd like to believe. So you might want to resize some of your art that you're going to be dropping into here. But you get the idea. So we've created a piece of art that's going to fit into our window. And suddenly, imagine that this is your property flyer. Imagine that this is something, a piece of content that you think when somebody says, yeah, inspection news, great, I want to see that. When they pop into this, there it is. There's not a link to pop open. There's not an attachment. It's just there in their face. I think that has an incredible value. While we're on it, we can also add a link to it. So, you know, your savvy, tech-savvy consumers know how to click on a link. They know when their cursor turned to something else. So we can link that piece of art to a URL. So maybe you'd like to send them to your Jack-On profile, which those of you that attend a lot of my stuff, just like yesterday, you all know that I'm real set on having everything linked back to my profile for that Google juice that I'm going for. And we're simply going to insert that, and when the consumer gets this email and clicks on this link within his profile, now you might want to set a little target there. You know, click here, which it sounds real simple, but you've got to tell a consumer what to do today. Click here for the full report. Click here for more detail. Put a target right in the middle. We could insert another piece of clip art, maybe a great big button. Push the button for play, and we'll take them to your video, take them to additional content about your property within this email. Now, I'd be sending them to my profile or to that multi-list page because I want to capture them as much as possible. Simple tip, don't send them to a capture device that says enter your email to continue, because they're going to lose them right there. And that's the kind of stuff we're going to look at today over the next couple minutes. So absolutely my favorite feature that everyone has overlooked in this particular program. The other one that is super simple, but when you start typing an email address, it's going to bring up the people that you most often reach out to, and it's going to try and auto-complete it for you, which I think is just a great feature. That's a desktop Outlook feature that they roll into this particular software, and I like it a lot. Saves you a lot of time. It's a mobile feature. It's terrific. And you have such an advanced text editor over what we had before. So you really brought in a lot of functionality. And no, you can't, at least I haven't figured out how to do it, how to sort my my list. If I go in and I want to bring up everything by Ian, I just can't go in and put Ian Weaver and have them all drop in line. It's going to take you from A to Z. And that's been our biggest complaint. And unfortunately, can't help you on that one, guys. Wish I could. It kind of is what it is. But what I'd like to take you to today is this little guide that I've come up with. And I don't know what you subscribe to online, but I subscribe to an awful lot of email lists, apparently. And so I get stuff sent to me all the time. A lot of it I really enjoy, and I'm happy to share it with you, and that's what kind of prompted me to this today. But just started breezing through this particular report and really found this to be great content. Anytime you can write 156 pages about email marketing, got to be something in there worth looking at, I would imagine. And I firmly believe it. So this will take us through, as you can see, all the different, there's like 7 categories. But how do you move through your email marketing and what's engaging email? And that's really where I'm going to spend my time today, because as you can see, there's a lot of depth to this. Reaching across channels is just what we just did. We're going to drop in an image. We're going to link it to YouTube, to our JGR page, to your home website, to something that you want to use to engage and further engage that person and take them to deeper and richer content. Now, I just left a meeting with the Central Penn Multi-List, and that is exactly what we're talking about. How do we create more content, and where do we want to put our money, create benefits for our members that's more engaging and deeper for them? So this is not limited to email. This is all parts, because the web allows us to bring a lot of great content together. Those folks in Greencastle, we talked about this yesterday, guys. You can create some of this material and have it link right to some of those reports we looked at yesterday. How cool would that be? So some cool delivery, and what a great email insert some of those report pieces would be. So why should you read this? You see this, on an average day, a consumer will be exposed to 2,900 media messages and will pay attention to 52. So your subject line is incredibly important when it comes to email. You're in that 2,900. This is not saying that the average person gets 2,900 email, but everywhere they turn, somebody wants them to click, join, whatever. You've got some clout with that person because they know your name. So, oh, look, I got an email from Ian. Well, I'm already at 50-50. Do I read it or not? So I'm going to drop down to the subject line, and that's going to be the quick defining moment if it looks like something that has any interest to me at all or not. And I'll tell you, that is a fraction of a second that you've got somebody, the ability to reach out and touch that person and connect. So what is an engaging email? Remember one thing. Buyers have a lot of power today as a digital buyer. Their number one power is they can opt out. If you put them into a drip system that's kind of dull and boring or just totally off the mark for what they were looking for, they're just going to opt out. And you get those opt-out reports from multi-lists and so forth where Ian's no longer accepting your listings. Dude, you were off the mark. Or they bought something, it's a great time to follow up. And I see you've opted out. What was I missing? Because what they want is you to sharpen a dot and send them information that is right on target for them. I'm in the middle of reviewing a website right now that I came across from an interview I was watching last evening. And it's direct talk from consumers, what they think of their experiences in dealing with their agents. Now, we want to say that the market has changed, that the consumer has changed, that delivery methods have changed, that everything about real estate is different. And that's mostly true. You know, the number one thing that hasn't changed, the number one complaint that consumers have about their agent, and that is, especially on the buy side, they never listen to me. We're sending them crap that we think is important to everybody, and what they're saying is, I'm special, I'm unique. They've been raised to believe that they're special and unique. Our Gen Y, Gen X, Gen Y believe they can do anything. They've been empowered because that's the way we've raised them. And now they exercise that. We go, I don't know what to do with them. Give them what they want. Number one complaint, my agent never listened to me. They sent me overpriced listings for where my comfort zone was for spending. They felt like they were being pushed. Nothing has changed in all the years I'm in the business because that was a complaint way back when. But they have the ability to opt out of your messages. So even though you're paying big money for a website, for Top Producer, for something to automatically touch them, they can opt right out if they don't like your message. Pay attention to your opt-out zone. Consumers have higher expectations. They want you to keep track of their purchase history. I know when I go online to book tickets through Orbitz or a hotel through hotels.com, I like that they know that I want a king-size bed in a smokeless room. I like that they know that I want a window seat. So it's going to tell me before I even click on the flight if there's seats available for me. Not that there aren't seats, but there aren't seats available on my preference. I think that's kind of cool. That's their expectation. So when we say they want to know, the consumers want to know that we're listening to them, don't be sending them stuff, you know, I won't go over $250, and then we send them something at $265. maybe without an explanation. So I'm sending you this at $265. I know it's over your limit, and I think it's overpriced. It's worth taking a look at. It's been on the market 293,000 days. Give them something to work with to demonstrate that you're paying attention to them. I love this particular page. Email matters more today than ever before. 2009 Wall Street Journal publishes that email is dead. It was the most emailed article of the day. And you know, that still goes on today. Things go out virally, sort of through email, but there's also all these other channels. You think you're inundated with information. Many of you aren't bothering with Facebook. You're certainly not on Twitter. You might not be in Google+. I can't even tell you how many email addresses I have right now because of all the different services I take advantage of and all of their streams. You got to pay attention to the ones that matter most. So make sure your leads are in compliance so that you're getting those emails and notices that you can receive leads. Make sure you're checking out Homebase. And I wanted to have that open for you because many of you don't realize that there's a messaging system internally in Homebase, and I think that's worth pulling up right now. So if you aren't going into Homebase and checking for messages, and you'll find if I come to your office and do this demonstration, we're going to bring up some Homebase accounts. You might be that embarrassed agent that finds out you have messages sitting in there for a long time from a consumer that wrote you and felt they were addressing you quickly and they never heard back from you. And we'll take a look at that right now because I think that one is really worthwhile. Again, this one opens a lot of eyes in my live demonstration. So if you go into Homebase, first thing you're going to see on your home page is right here in the middle. You have a message inbox, and the number of folks that have had messages sitting there and they were unaware of them is amazing. We're getting a really high percentage of deals coming through with email addresses, which mean invitations are going out to consumers to come into Homebase. A high percentage of consumers are going into Homebase. It's only a matter of time till messages start popping up in here. So it's something you don't want to be caught short. There could be a serious message waiting for there that needs a serious response. Why do people go to those kind of systems? For one reason only. They're trying to get away from the clutter of email. They don't want to be lost in the shuffle with email, so they're moving towards a lot of messaging systems like this. They're using messages that are within Facebook. So they're going to direct message you through Facebook. They're going to direct message you through our Homebase system because it's kind of comfortable for them. And we're all dealing with consumers that don't check their email. They just kind of are tired of the noise and they've gotten away from it. So I've had a client, I would imagine you have too, where I'm going to send you a text that says, check your email. I've sent you a contract and it takes action. You send it by DocuSign, turn it around, because otherwise they're not going to get in there. Like it says, email matters more today than ever before. One of the great stories out there of a company that is just blowing up on email with sales, with actual net sales, is Staples. Staples has put together a very aggressive email campaign. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't go to Staples every day. But I do have a rewards card. And because I have that card, they are marketing to me. And I receive an email from Staples every day. And I would tell you to pay attention to Staples. I would tell you to pay attention to their subject line because they write really compelling subject lines in very few words, like save $25 today, save 25% immediately. I don't know what I really need, but I always open them to see if it is something that I might truly want. And right now they have all these sales going on copy paper. Get one, buy one box, get one free. Walk in, ask for a pack of paper, they'll just give you one. they have a lot of compelling offers that cause you to open this stuff. I was a victim of opening their material, and then I read the article. What a remarkable campaign this has been for them. I had to sit there and go, yeah, it is, because I knew exactly what they were talking about. I've been reading this stuff. Radio Shack has had an incredibly successful email campaign. Now, again, maybe a lot of you don't go to Radio Shack. I get there too often. I have a cable for everything. But the stuff I want is never on sale, but I do look at their emails because they are so well done. So main takeaways for you today. Like I said, if you have an interest in seeing this whole report, I would offer just drop me a line. I'll see that you get it. It's going to talk about the challenges that people are facing, how to overcome some of those. There are tremendous tools for tracking email, which is what's causing Gmail to be such an incredibly powerful tool. So you're going to see a lot of your business contacts are migrating to Gmail because of some of the tools that plug into it. Your ZIMBA program has some powerful tools that plug into it that we'll be exploring over time as they become available and I become aware of them. Not sure just what all our platform will support or how much of it ZIMBA has allowed to release to us. But there are some really cool tools, especially for a desktop user. It does require that you're off your desktop and not off of mobile for many of those things, and that's going to be true of Gmail too. So I want you to start thinking of email as a more powerful tool. I want you to give it more thought. And the thought of the day, for those of you that are sitting around and every time I say email, you groan or moan because you're so tired of being tied to email, you're so tired of it in a lot of ways, the popular strategy these days is start to control the amount of time that you give it. You know, email doesn't come and grab you and make you open it. There's something that you're either waiting for or hoping for that you're always in it. It's okay to add it to a time block for your day and say, I will do email from 8 to 8:15 in the morning and from 1 to 2 in the afternoon. Now, if you have more times available during the day and you want to check it, that's your choice. But there will be a lot of great freedom in managing the time that you're going to look at email. And here's a statement that I heard a week ago that has empowered me to just back off of email a little bit. And this is it. You know, we're always looking at emails, and so Ian sent me something, and John, I need to call or email this to me or do something. I get to see a lot of those emails. How I deal with them is my choice, because here comes this statement. Email gives the ability for someone else to write on my to-do list. And you know, I heard that one and I said, oh my gosh, that's my day. Or maybe yours too. You're sitting around, you thought you might take it easy this morning and do a few things, and for whatever reason you check your email and oh my God, they want that sign writer fixed right now and I wanted to do that tomorrow, and now you've got this gnawing at you because you have to deal with something in the email. And I'm arguing that no, you don't. You're allowing people to write on your to-do list. So take control of your day, take control of your activities and your calendar. Limit your viewing in email. Now, if you're expecting that contract or that reply, you have to figure out how you want to manage that one, because that's where the money's made. But as far as everything else, you know, there are automatic replies that can be sent out. Thanks for the email. I'm active in meeting with customers all day long. I set up a schedule that I check my email at this time and I respond during this time. They've got an immediate reply. You've set an expectation with them. And that's the minimum that you want to do. So if you say I check email at 1 and I do replies between 1 and 1:30, well, you got to do it. If you've got spare time along the way and you want to do something extra, well, again, that's your business decision. But don't allow people to write on your to-do list, or at least manage it when they do, because they'll continue to do it, because in this world, I send an email, tag you're it. You don't have to play that game. So I hope some of these are helpful to you. and that you find this report helpful. And again, I apologize for the delay this morning, but we had some hot topics we're discussing that were kind of techie, so they're right up my alley. So once again, thanks everyone for tuning in. I totally appreciate your time and your views. I hope you find this helpful for some of the newer agents that are just getting into this business. This business is all about time management. If you want to have a life, a work-life balance, you got to take control of it, because there's not a good solution out there. There is not an app for controlling your time. And I'll tell you right now, email is not it, because things pop up and you'll want to respond to them quickly. Stay the course, continue on having your appointments, creating those appointments, and let email be a vehicle for getting things done. Don't let it be the thing that drags you around. And as Terry Wright said, if you find yourself sitting around saying, I'm waiting for an email response on that inspection, I'm waiting for a response on this contract or for this confirmation, that might be the time to pick up the phone and call somebody and say, where is it? You told me 1 o'clock. I don't have it. Are we on? Is the deal going forward? Is the appointment set? Follow up, because you may have heard of Barracuda. Things do get stuck. Other people have spam filters where things get stuck, and your phone call might be the one to say, oh, I need to check that. I didn't receive it. I didn't get it. You mistyped the address. You could have done a lot of things wrong. If you find yourself waiting, take action, guys, or saying that I'm waiting. Take action. This is John Tice. Hope you enjoyed this one, and this is a helpful topic for you this week. And I'll be back on Tuesday with WhatsApp. And again, next Thursday, we'll have another scintillating topic here on my Thursday morning WebExes. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week. Now go sell something.